That's the level of energy I have right now, Sid. Nothing whatsoever. Much like the team played today at home against Celta de Vigo. Welcome to The Real Deal, a Real Madrid podcast with me, Jarod Hector, joined by Siddharth Ramsundar. Sid, how are you feeling, buddy?
You know, I do have a little bit of energy from when we had 10 men and started trying. It's really, I know it was only 5 minutes, but I'm channeling whatever I saw. I'm channeling what I felt.
Oh, honestly, Sid, like one of the things that I love about doing this show with you and what we do in The Real Deal is we give nuance, we give perspective. We talked about that on a lot of our shows, how, it's not just about reactions and emotions, but we're all sports fans and those are natural feelings to have. And honestly, Sid, to me, tactically, I don't even want to because get into depth of oh, we should once again, there was another match where this team just decided to come out and play at 50% effort. And I'm just like, that has zero to do with tactics. That's just showing up and giving the requisite effort. And for whatever reason, this team maintains that inability to play when it matters most. And honestly, we all know all the real issues that modern day football presents with the calendar, the schedule, injuries, all of that. But Sid, we can't act like those are all problems unique to Real Madrid. Every team has a packed calendar. Every team has injuries. But I'll tell you, when I watch football up and down different leagues, we don't have these problems, right? There are teams that are like, this is who we got, this is who we're rolling with. We're going to play and we're going to do what we got to do. And again, to your point, it took us going down a goal and down to 10 men before we decided, all right, let's put together a requisite effort. And we talked about this. We know the team cannot press for all 90 minutes, and that's not what we're asking. But if you know you're not going to press for all 90 minutes, hey, how about you set up in a mid-block or something more compact so you don't allow the opposition to waltz through and score a relatively easy goal with a back heel click, right? By their forward. Again, Sid, this was a disastrous performance. And to me, there is no way you could do the whole, oh, well, if the tactics were this and that. This has shit to do with tactics. This is about effort and wanting to and trying. And for whatever reason, this club has zero interest in doing that.
So I think the thing is we didn't win always by trying and paying attention to the details. And so we have a team of guys that clearly don't want to always pay attention to the details. And it's, just going back to some of the convos, I felt like the setup was a little bit of what the team wants, if that makes sense. Vini gets his high and wide position where he can interchange with Mbappe, and he's no longer being asked to track the fullback all the time on his side. And so he gets that freedom. But I think the defense was an issue, and we want to talk about that. But I would also point out it's a two-way issue, because I feel like, and what I wanted to point out on our show was hey guys, get ready for the roller coaster. We just figured something out and we threw it out the door because Trent's out now. And reasonably speaking, before this game, Jarod, I didn't see tools that could magically fit. And when you compound that with thinking you can get away with not defending, it's a disaster. But I'll just say this. I was expecting the worst this game, because the one guy in our midfield who was really getting better at manipulating a defense and press, Camavinga, who can dribble, which is something that a hurt Fede really doesn't carry the ball like he used to, this washed up version. And then Tchouameni.
Though he had a nice carry in the first half, but because Asensio was on right back and doesn't rank overlapping runs, he had no one to pass the ball to.
Yes, that was so awkward and sad. Asensio just freezing and not getting the ball. That was unfortunate. But so Camavinga's out. We lose that. And then we lose the guy who he wasn't turning under pressure, but it was we were sending it to him. Everyone was running at him and he'd find someone somewhere else, no matter who's running at him. That disappeared. And I think, as we've talked about, our 2 points of failure from playmaking are Arda and Trent. So that means Arda's back in the lineup. And when Arda's back in the lineup, I feel like that was the first big issue. Arda, Vini, Mbappe, they just cannot defend on the same pitch together right now. And each person is different. So I want to go through each one, because everyone is trying to scapegoat someone, and each person's unique.
It's everybody. Right.
In now Arda's case, he's light on duels.
As being kind.
Yes, and honestly, he's just kind of a lightweight. No matter where he is, you just feel like he's kind of not there. And there were moments this season where that seemed to be changing, where you see him go from Arda to like Modric or Pedri at points, but then it halted. And like we can't lie to ourselves, there's no more development coming from that perspective. And like for now, he's not winning duels. And well, it's just three liabilities. I think people are quick to like get mad when I pointed out, hey, like Vini's defending the way he wants, which means he's not actually tracking one person. He's just kind of jumping around. Yes, he was leading the press. I do want to say it was his job to be like, hey, like jump now. But there were so many points when I'm just like, dude, why are you following into the middle? We now have a numerical disadvantage here.
Correct.
He would eventually get back, but it feels like he was deciding when. And I'll be honest, there were a lot of moments where Celta just kind of toyed with our ball pressure. It was like one guy thinking, I'm going to go to the ball, another two guys not even cutting passing lanes. And in general, like I think you went with these types of players, you got to be a little passive, which means you might want to set up in a 4-5-1, but they don't want that anymore. Vini wants to be up front more. And so you have Arda, Vini, and Mbappe just struggling to win duels. I think that's where everything starts. But Jarod, we saw this coming. Like you can't bench Vini or Mbappe. Arda's one of two playmaking points of failure, the other being Ceballos, who like Ceballos, for whatever reason, has not been a surefire starter on this team because he's not like going to do that for you 40 games a season. You might get a good 10 to 20.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that some of this was coming, and I feel a little bad because like the first half, the expected goals overall, like we didn't lose the game, even though we weren't playing well. And then Tchouameni is the one who makes the mistake on the goal. So where do you go with that? It's like, we didn't concede too much in the first half. I just want to emphasize that, Gerard.
Yeah, we didn't. But you know, to me, I again go back to, and I'm with you. You have clear profiles that, for whatever reason, don't match up, right? You talked about Mbappe, Vini, and Arda together, and how they're light on duels. If you're gonna press, you can press if there is a systematic way that you're doing it, right? One thing triggers the next, which triggers the next, as opposed to being helter-skelter, right? And then creating numerical disadvantages for you on the back end, which happened a few times, right? It's not just about running crazy. I think Xavi, like to your point, Xavi gave them what they wanted, right? Okay, you don't want to do 90 minutes of film study and you don't want every single thing scripted out for you. Cool. Let's go back to what you do and what you like to do. Okay, they did that, but you lost anyway, right? You're still not good enough. And my point is, to a team like Celta de Vigo, they're with this win, they're now up to 10th, but this is a mid-table team, all right, that like has given up 20 goals this season. Like that, the idea that a squad of Real Madrid's caliber at home cannot defeat Celta de Vigo, mainly because they don't want to work and do what the coaches is requiring of them, that is a problem. And it clearly seems to be, Sid, internally some kind of stand being made, right? I saw someone in the chat put that 2 subs not being used, and it's clear that Vidi and Fede not being subbed off, right? Like, so have we decided that this is the thing, that Vini and Fede are in the camp of we're going to do what the hell we want to do, and then everybody else is, okay, maybe I'll listen to Alonso, maybe I won't, right? So you essentially have on the pitch 11 guys doing something completely different. Well, how the fuck are you going to win doing that?
Yeah, so and that's where I want to emphasize, like, there's a few things here. On one hand, like, this team, I guess the main thing is they've never won playing defense first. Let's just start there. So they believe that playing defense first is not right. But it's not just that. Like, it's such a contrast to like Man City or Arsenal, where they win big games, small games off like winning final third duels. That is not in the culture here. The idea is like, if I have to be locked in defensively the whole game to get what I want, it doesn't hit the dopamine. It's not injected into their veins.
But we gave you what, and you can't beat Celta. Okay, cool. No defense. Here you go. Do whatever you want on offense. Knock yourselves out. You couldn't even. What was the best chance we had? The Arda chance in the first half, and the Mbappe break where he chipped it up over the goalkeeper and it went onto the roof. Right. Those are the 2 best chances in my mind. Because we can pull up SofaScore or one of those things. And see what the 2 best chances, because I think, right, I mean, it might say we had like 4 big chances, but I don't.
The two biggest chances of the game went to Celta.
There you go. We didn't even get the 2 biggest chances. It was Celta.
I think SofaScore got the expected goals horribly off today. It was lying to me. So yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I'll pull up the expected goals. But Celta.
SofaScore is saying we were 2.29 and Celta was 1.54. Except we created 4 big chances. They created 2.
Listen, I'm putting up Mark our stats. This is why this is why the bat signal and the real deal needs to come back. People just lie and make shit up now. It's crazy.
Put up Mark stats. I'm like, what the? I'm like 4 chances. I'm like, what 4? I don't remember 4 chances.
This is Mark stats, so you can see you can see like by halftime they've pretty much created as much as us, and then like, oh man, I was going off Sofa. That's why I was like looking at SofaScore. I'm like, where did we get an expected goal worth of chances, and where and how is? Fine, I can accept they only got like a quarter XG, but where did we get our expected goal worth of chances? I didn't see that in the first half. And well, listen, we get to halftime and we have enough of a foundation where if we can press them and like, force a few ball losses in their half and do something, we can still go somewhere. I think that's where we have to start because yes, the first half was bad, especially the first 20-ish minutes. The ball pressure was horrific.
Shit.
The last 15 minutes, we parked in their half. And listen, you can criticize the coach's style of attacking, but I do firmly believe like you can't hate a guy for parking in their half. Like that on some level, we don't have that much talent. We can't play end to end. They don't want to press. Like at least keep the ball and sit in their half. If you don't want to defend, that's like a reasonable alternative to defending. And at halftime, I felt like, okay, like it wasn't a great first half, but do something. And this comes back to like how we get to some of these games at halftime, everything falls apart. But the last couple times, that was the thing is like, I don't think today the second half collapse was on Alonso at all. Second half collapse today on
I don't think any of today was on Alonso. I blame Alonso for none of today. None of today is his fault.
Yeah, so I think today was tricky because I mean some people are saying bench Vini or Mbappe, but we already been through this. He has to play Vini and Mbappe. So it's either Ceballos or Arda is getting that nod in midfield.
And to go back to that really quick, Sid, and let's be clear. We believe, and tell me if you don't agree with this, he has to play Vini and Mbappe because he has ceded control to the players.
I think he has to play Vini and Mbappe because I think Vini has asked that, hey, I've won here. Try to make this work with me instead of trying to make a system work and what you won't see on the pitch. Give me a chance, like believe in me. Let's make this Vini and Mbappe duo a thing. Let me interchange with him. Like he's better than Rodrigo. Let's turn this into a better version of 2024. That's what I think they want. And listen, that would all work if we still had Kroos and Modric, first of all. That still may not work.
Here we go. To Kroos Modric thing.
I just want to say this. Even when we had them, we were still like having 30-minute sequences against Celta Vigos where we were playing like shit. So the only difference is in the second half, when we were chasing the game, we could actually create, whereas now we can't. Like when Trent's there, we can actually create. With Arda, we can't turn out of pressure. So if the whole team's desperate, like they were with 10 men, and you can see it's so funny, right after the red card is when our best play of the game comes, after the red card. That should tell you everything. I think why do we defend better with 10 men than we do with 11? I think that reveals that fundamentally we play too much on emotion. We're too right-brained, animal-brained. Like it's just too much of that hunger and sex brain that says go, 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 instinct and feel. And listen, that works. But I do think football has got to a point where these teams are really planning because you can use that part of your brain against you to get you to do stupid shit, to play end to end, to give up chances, and then you don't get that on the other end. It's just funny. Like the second half is like 23-24 without Kroos or Modric. That's what happens. Like you guys have to press more because you don't actually have on-ball ability, and you don't press that well because you don't do the homework. And that's what happens.
And that's been so interesting to me, Sid. I'm not going to say that these guys in this team are not smart football players. They are, right? They're clearly smart guys and understand the game of football. To your point, I love the right brain, left brain breakdown. Here's the thing. Okay, to your point. All right, we're chasing the game. We're going to let you do what you want to do. They're not dumb. They know there's no Kroos or Modric controlling the tempo back there, and Trent's out. So who the fuck is servicing you the ball? Who's doing this? Who on the pitch? There's nobody there. So how's it happening?
Well, they started winning it back themselves like they should have the whole game before it was 1-0 down.
It's just bonkers to me that this team does this. And this idea too that, and this is why Xabi wanted to implement a system, right? Because the point of a system, Sid, is that if you have a system in place, you are not reliant on one player, right? Oh shit, Cruz is out, we're fucked. Oh no shit. Oh, Trent's out, we're fucked. But that shouldn't, again, how many teams lose a key player but are still able to play well and get results because they have a system that they play? Yes, it's better when that player is there. Of course, it's better if Trent is there. Of course, it's better if Cruz and Modric are there, but they are not. So in that absence, and it's incredible how these guys don't want to get that and don't want to relinquish a little bit of control. And honestly, Sid, I don't even think, because Xabi's moved the needle back a little bit on them, right? Like he's giving them, and this is my point. When all this stuff started breaking out is after the Elche draw, right? And then it was we had the team meeting, things are better, blah, 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 and things started to get a little bit better after that, right? And Hendrick was shown a red card. Oh my God. We'll get to that in a minute. So now we have a situation where I'm giving you guys, right? You ask for this. Okay. I'm being more lax. I'm giving you what you want. You have regressed now into complete disaster because it's like what Jude said to Mbappe. Everyone remembers this. And at the halftime of our first game last year at the UEFA Super Cup, right? I think it was 0-0 at half or whatever. And Jude is in English. You caught him on mic saying, hey, you guys up at the front got to finish the attacks because we're getting killed running up and down back here, right? That was match 1 last season. Not match 20, not match 40. 1, the first match of the season, he was saying that. Sid, that problem is still there. If you are not going to convert on the other end and win your one-on-one duels in the final third, and you're also not going to try and do what you got to do, well, now we're fucked, right? Now we lose. This is why. So you can't have it both ways. If you're going to do what you want to do, then you have to win your one-on-one battles up front, and you have to convert. And they didn't do any of that. And they haven't, outside of Mbappe, have not been doing that all season.
Well, and the thing is, their style of play that they want works against high lines. And under Carlo, every game against other teams, they would extend their line at some point before we started coming back because they would just feel like they can get at us. And because they would feel like we wouldn't commit defensively and keep a line that they could take advantage. And at some point, they would get tired doing that. That's not happening as much anymore because that's one thing that really stands out to me is that it takes no work to pressure the ball against this team anymore. It's so easy. It's like, because listen, I've played FIFA and I've coached teams and I know when you're hopeless exiting against a press, that's how this team looks, honestly. Like it's as soon as someone is cornered back to goal,
done.
It's over. It's over. Arda, it's over. Tchouameni, it's over.
Taking the ball away.
And again, the guy who could have done it, Camavinga's out, along with Trent, who doesn't turn, but he just somehow lasers it.
Fire it up. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we didn't mention this. Congratulations to Eder Militao now out, and that injury looks pretty serious. So this team is screwed even more. We're going to get to the prognostication of the future. Sid, I love to look back at certain moments and talk about how they're relevant to what's happening now. And the one I go back to, you remember this, it was after the second tie against Arsenal last year in the Champions League. And Odegaard was at his post-game interview with Paramount Plus. And he was asked, oh, man, how were you able to, take care of Madrid so easily, right? And remember, Odegaard chuckled and smiled and said, well, we know those guys up front don't want to run back and defend, so it makes it pretty easy, right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said. Dude, the book is out on all of you people. Forget about big clubs like Arsenal. Fucking Celta de Vigo knows it. Lower end clubs know this shit. Hey guys, don't worry. You can be brave against this team because up top, they're not tracking back and we'll have numerical superiority. Or even if they do press us, it's not going to be cohesive. You can pass our way out of it. And once we turn and start going upfield, they're going to walk or jog back and we got this. All we have to do, we being the opponent, is be somewhat clinical and we can score goals on them. And here's the third part. One of the things I always said about this team, if you remember, said all the time was when we were winning early in the season, I said, okay, this team will reveal its true character when adversity hits, right? Because that's when we know what you really are. When you're winning, everything's sunshine, puppy dogs and ice cream, everybody's happy. Woo, life is good. But when it gets rough, you're going to revert back to who you are and what you are comfortable with. Well, Sid, we're seeing it. It's been laid to bear very easily. And my fear now is, at this point of the season, So we are now what 4 points behind Barca. Might be third in the table now, right? Villarreal might have a chance to leave for August, whatever. Point being, and we'll probably lose to Man City this week on Wednesday. When it starts teetering, and it could before Christmas, when do the players, Sid, look at the calendar and go, you know what? We got World Cup coming up in a few months. I'm not going to be running out here killing myself for this team when we got no chance of winning anything. Let's put it, I mean, shit, they're already in neutral, but let's put it in even slower gear and just work and get ourselves ready for World Cup this coming summer.
I don't know about that. Football is always going to be too small margin, but I do think the club has put us in a dangerous spot now with Militao and the lack of playmaking points of failure. So it's like, okay, like if you had one more center back and like an Isco profile somewhere, you could salvage the whole year much more easily. Instead, now you're bumping guys around. They're all playing out of position. Just one more center back. Imagine if Carreras could have played left back today. And if Carreras could have played left back today, then Fran Garcia is not playing there, and we have a real center back next to him. And it's a slightly different look. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we can then move Fede to right back and keep Carreras at center back. I don't know. There's just so many looks, there's so many looks we could have if we have an extra player. And I think it's just a shame because this season we were supposed to kind of be loaded and give Alonso what he wants. But I think as the club, you look down at this and let's say everything works out perfectly. I just want to put a scenario out. Let's say all our guys are healthy, Trent's around, and we play the big games. I still think in some of those big games, let's say Trent gets man-marked out of the game and we can't control it as much, which can happen. He's a right back near the touchline. He's not Marcelo. He's not going to like dribble and hold on to it for 30 seconds. Listen, our ceiling could still be like a good league team that loses the biggest games because we can't hold on to the ball. I think people underestimate what Cruz and Modric gave us was agency, Jarod, is all I mean. And we don't have agency right now. We don't have a wand. We don't have a point guard. We can't bring the ball up to the halfway line without the other team knowing what's happening. And I think for 2 months, like the best thing you got to do is now look for the plan B of what's the best way you can build. And I hate to say it, but like you can't persist with Arda, Vini, and Mbappe. So one of them is out. And I think that's where you start getting a little drastic. It's like, okay, if I can't play Arda, then the amount of playmaking in the squad is dog shit. We don't have anything.
But Sid, even taking away getting that Isco profile or someone who could help us create a little bit better. But we don't have that. What would happen, Sid, if this team actually gave the requisite effort necessary? What would it look like? What would this matchup look like? Forget about adding, just give a shit like you did when you were down 10 men. What would it have looked like?
No, I think if we give a shit, we're a lot like those. We could win the league like the 2012 team and we could go very far. I think if they like the 2012 team is an example. No controllers, but they gave a shit. They defended under Jose Mourinho. They gave a shit. Ronaldo gave a shit. I mean, I guess Ronaldo's probably the one who got the leeway. But again, one guy got leeway. Mm-hmm. One guy. I love you, Vini, and I love you, Mbappe. And listen, I hate that we're in the situation where Vini won and Mbappe didn't, and then we have to hand off the baton to Mbappe a little. But I just mean, at the end of the day, like, Mbappe is scoring a lot this season. He's creating a lot of danger. And I think fundamentally, yes, the team looks dangerous when the ball gets to Vini's feet, but Mbappe can play off other guys effectively. And there's just no world, I think, where he is benched. I think we got to start there. And I think that but I think the club knows this on some level too, because I think the club has an evaluation process that accounts for how much of defending do you do? Have you won? Mm-hmm. How lazy were you at PSG? I think they think about all those things. They're not stupid. They know before signing someone about the ego. That's why we've won with so many egomaniacs. We understand that you have to work around them, and sometimes we don't. But there's a level of understanding that like this isn't just a normal team. And so within that, I think they look at the metrics. They're like, hey, Vini, thanks for leading us to those rings, but we're not benching Mbappe.
Right.
Like, how can you just look at the stats, the shots? What do you think, Jarod, when you see it? Because like I think a lot of this is like a bit of eye test versus stats thing too. Because like Mbappe is a like higher points per game scorer, so to speak.
Yes.
He's getting the metrics, but to the eye, the offense looks a little more deadly when Vini gets on the ball.
Yeah, it's like counting stats versus estimated plus minus, right? Like Mbappe is the high scorer, but I bet Vini's like in basketball terms, right? His plus and his EPM is so high because so much of what happens is what he creates, right? In the sense that not necessarily the assist, but when he goes to that far touchline around that left corner, 2 or 3 dudes are shadowing him in that corner. So now, the downside of that is, of course, when he doesn't get the ball through and turns it over, and then the opposition goes the other way, right? Which happens a lot, right? But again, in a low margin sport, the 2 times he does it where a pass gets out, at least another pass, and Mbappe scores, right? Or I was going to say somebody else, but really it's just Mbappe. And Mbappe scores, that's a plus for Vini, right? In a low margin sport, we win, right? Yay, 1-0. But in the moments where it doesn't happen, right? When you are not scoring in a low margin sport, what else are you doing to help us? Now, Vini did win the ball back a couple times late in the game, and did that. He was creating a lot of the things, but it wasn't enough to actually do the goal thing. And how much of the initial goal we gave up, yeah, you say Tchouameni is to blame.
It is Tchouameni. I went through the film like 30 times.
But but all the way back, is it solely Tchouameni, or was there, if this pass wasn't played because we didn't have the right angle press wise,
So I will hate to say it, but I've been defending Tchouameni saying, hey, get us our creators. But this is the exact example of the moment that happens every 5 or 6 games, or maybe less, since he came to Real Madrid, pretty much nonstop, that people have been nonstop pointing out, of a moment that Casemiro would not have allowed to happen. And I hate to say it, Casemiro is the most paranoid freak, at defenseman. He was paranoid. Tchouameni made 2 mistakes here, because when the ball crosses the offensive line, Fede doesn't track, because they actually left a lot of their guys back. That's what's so embarrassing about the goal. They are playing 5-on-8, Jarod. And they beat us. So no, it wasn't on. It's funny, but that goal actually wasn't on the attacker. So first, Arda's just doing this thing where he's jogging through the middle, kind of trying to keep a body there, but he's really not able to shield it at all.
So what we call in basketball fake hustle.
Fake hustle, yeah, like LeBron pretending to defend. Now,
right, but you ain't doing shit.
Yeah. And then so fake hustle, and then Tchouameni, instead of holding position, reacts to his fake hustle and loses his position. That gets a guy open. And in that moment, it's fine. He could still have recovered. And then he lets a guy run past him and just jogs. Tchouameni's watching the ball. One guy sprints past him. And I guess he sees the guy arrive into spaces of Carreras and Rudiger, and he thinks they got it, and Fran. But honestly, he should have had that. And that's a situation that Casemiro would not allow. But that's where I want to point out, people are blaming Tchouameni. They're blaming Xabi Alonso. They're blaming Fran Garcia, who I honestly think, and they're blaming Vini, Rodrigo, and Mbappe. They're saying, I don't want any of them. The truth is that why I keep bringing up the profile is what I want to say is, you might hate all of them in these situations, but there are worlds where most of them work. Rodrigo, I think, is almost done. I will say this was a game tailor-made for him to come and dominate. Yeah, he didn't do shit. It's okay, we have the ball. We're stuck in their half. And we just need someone to wiggle through their defense. This is what you're there for, right? And the thing is, you just don't know if he's going to beat his man.
And this is the problem with someone like Tchouameni. I mean, not Tchouameni, with Rodrigo. Because he hasn't scored since Moses was walking around. He is so hungry to do it. It forces him to do things that he shouldn't do because he's so desperate to score a goal. So you then become selfish, right? In certain moments where it's we could have kept possession here if you just laid off with that 1 minute. There was no angle for you to shoot. It's just, there's so many, as I always say, Sid, right? All the pieces matter. There's so many problems impacting this team. And I just wonder, it's not the club's track record to do anything, to make any moves in January, right? It's going to kind of roll with what we got and hope guys come back healthy, right? I would be shocked if they do anything.
Yeah, that is the worry. And I think here's where I'm confident is I think they realize hey, if there isn't harmony on this team, they're going to burn. And Florentino's told the players, Alonso's my bet. So on some level, I hope he's protected, because not signing players and not defending means the season's going to end in a way where normally a Real Madrid coach would get sacked. That's just the reality. Not doing both. But I do think I do think there is an open convo. I think I might be alone on this, that they do watch the film. And I do think Alonso can be hey, look, this is how it looks when I let them do what they want, Flo. I think he can tell him that after the game. And he's
got more than one tape. He's got a couple games of tape. This is what it's like when I let them just do fuck all. Here you go.
Olympiacos today.
Right. Yeah, we won that, but we gave up 5-4? We gave up 4 goals. So
And hey, listen, maybe Paris shuts him down. Then Courtois is going to be calling and be like, "Hey, bro, like what's going on, bro?" Like still under and
Courtois
Courtois
was so pissed today. He was so mad.
he was so mad. And Courtois is not perfect, but I think listen, we won without being a dominant positional team, without Courtois being insane on the ball, without defending perfect. And we just have to accept the equation changed a little. Like without those guys, we have to defend a little better, or someone's got to take heat the rest of the season. Like there will be consequences. I do think what's interesting is like, how do you manage this Arda, Vini, Rodrigo, Mbappe situation? Rodrigo has no value. How can you make it so Arda doesn't lose all his value in the market, or like you want to sell him? Honestly, at this point, if I had to be honest, Arda is a resale piece for me. Like I'm not trying to keep him on this team because like I don't want I don't want that's like a Barcelona player, Man City player. Like we don't want those non-dual heavy types of pieces that are situational. And then so Nico will come in, but
I mean, I hate to say it, and I know he has no resale value, but the people that got to go are Rodrigo, in my opinion, Rodrigo, Arda, and Vinicius. Like, and it hurts me to say Vinicius. Like, it really does, because I love Vini. But in terms of someone who has value that can get us something back.
But if he asks for the money he's asking for, he actually won't be sold unless Saudi wants him, is something to consider too. Like 30 million, like he's a great player, but I'm telling you right now, like nobody's just throwing 30 million at anyone.
I agree. No one's throwing 30 at him. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I don't, does he have to approve a sale to Saudi?
Well, I think he makes the I think he requests a contract ultimately. And so they're only going to make the sale if the Saudis can agree a deal with him.
Oh, I'm sure they will. They got plenty of money.
Well, if he wants to go there and maybe
I guess that's my point. Can he say no, even if I don't want to be sold there? Is he allowed to do that?
Yeah. Well, I just mean it's getting to the point where we might be like, hey, like we're not renewing you at that rate. We'll renew at this, or we'll sell you this summer. Like we could get there next summer. It just doesn't look like anyone is going to get what they came here for this season. And that makes it really tricky. And I will say this, I think Arda and Rodrigo, I would sell in a heartbeat. Vinny's just tricky because I think you want to keep a Vini on the same or similar deal away from another team in Europe.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's just a timeline. If Vinny's going to be an entitled player who tries to boss around other coaches at other clubs, who thinks he can repeat winning the same way he did those 2 years, if he thinks those 2 years are replicable and not like lucky Christmas gifts from Santa just for Real Madrid, then
yeah.
And it's really crazy. Like when we were winning, I was always thinking, what are the consequences of winning through bullshit? Like you get complacent. 2022 for sure. Like Mbappe stayed in Paris. He's not going to come join a Champions League winner that year. Like I feel like that might have been a factor where not just a contract. And then we did get Tchouameni, but like the complacency of that year hurt us the next year. We saw we're not as good. And then 23-24, as we've established, Courtois and Lunin had to go crazy. Man, I did have I keep going back to this, but when Cruz walked off the pitch, Rod, I had a sick feeling that I just still haven't had watching sports. I just knew that certain emotions I'd experienced would not get replicated. It was too good to be true. And this dude was the reason for it. I just want to say, like, that was a premonition. My body was just telling me, hey, bro,
you knew it.
You're done having fun for a little bit. Just for a little bit.
Real Madrid being so predictable, right? When we try to score, and everybody knows, like, okay, they're going to keep spamming Vini. And like LeConte said on this thing in the past, spamming Vini is something that has worked out well for us in the past. It isn't working out very well for us right now, like on aggregate. When we were winning in the beginning of the season, right? Outside of the Atleti game, we were doing what Xavi wanted, right, Sid? Like, it was pressing, right? You had width on the right side. Even though Franco Mastantuono was not scoring goals, you at least had a threat on the right side. So you had full width on the pitch.
Speaking of Franco, if there's one little slimmer of hope left this season, it's the fact that he's been out for this stretch, honestly. Like, because the spacing is still weird on the right side. It's gotten better. People like go into the spots Franco's supposed to be in.
Right.
But
it's not the same.
It's not. And also defensively, that guy was such a dog.
Yes.
I miss him.
That, again, like that, like, listen, 12 out of, we again, outside the Atleti game, like, we were playing well that way. Yes, Vini didn't like it, whatever, but it's not about you individually not liking your role. The team was winning. We have now reverted and gone back to how you guys want it more, and our results have been shittier, right? Like, we've gotten worse. Like, so the experiment has been done, right? Like, we saw Xavi's way, we win 12 out of 13. Your way, we're up and down. Like, I don't know what else Flo needs to see. I don't know what else the players need to see. Look, some serious discussions need to be had about going forward about who belongs and who stays. And to your point, Sid, if the bet is Flo made on Xavi that he's our guy versus over anybody else, then I think they're in a good position. But if that's not the case, and we don't know for sure, I think this team's ready for a world of hurt, because the way that football is played right now and the way that the talent is spread out and the way that teams play systematically, this team, as it's currently constructed, is nowhere near good enough to take on any of the elite opposition and to make any kind of noise in Champions League. At this rate, La Liga's not looking great. And I mean, Supercopa, we know Atleti plays against us, so that's always we'll probably lose that match, right? And with Barcelona healthy, anybody have confidence we're going to beat that team? Like, it's just, this is our reality again, right? So this could be another season, no major trophies, no trophies at all, to be honest. And we are where we are. And so much of this, Sid, is the collective mentality of this squad needs to get better from a fighting, and I don't mean like physically fighting, but I mean from an effort and want to standpoint. And there's again, when adversity hits, who are you? This team is so weak collectively. When they get punched in the mouth, Sid, they got glass jaw. They crumble and fall to the ground and lose their shit. And it's sad.
Yeah, I think the big thing is going forward is going to be, for me, I'm focused on signings because I really don't like trying to coach a team at the highest level that can't like manipulate ball pressure. And so if we can get a little redundancy at center back, maybe another center back or two, sell Rodrigo or Arda, bring in a deeper lying two-way player for Arda would be amazing.
Sell Brahim too. Like guys who are not going to do anything on this squad, but we can get some kind of value back.
Yep.
That's the thing. What's the point of having them if they're not going to play? Like,
yeah, and I think the thing is that's what happens when you frankly succeed with players who might have pulled it off once and can't again, and then you keep them. And now everyone's like, oh yeah, you're never winning like you did in 24, Rodrigo, again. You're never going to be a number 3 option on a Champions League winning team. You're like a 4 or 5 at best. And that is going to be crazy. So yeah, I think the biggest thing is just going to be like what happens with Vini is a question in terms of defense. Because just some, like keep everything aside, people don't want to scapegoat him, fine. Like some of the angles today just didn't make sense. You can call it initiating, but it's just like the guy's just kind of like making it up as he goes. Like that was really clear.
Looking busy on the field, right? Yeah, look at me. I'm running. I'm working hard. But yeah, bro, but if you're running sideways, that doesn't help. Like,
and it's impulsive because he's like kind of slotting in where he feels like he might be able to win it, where that feels comfortable for him, where he feels like he's not a scapegoat defensively almost. But
so what he's doing is that he's playing like an individual versus here is what our collective attacking group should be doing, right?
Yes. And, Mbappe, I just want to address that. People say Mbappe is not pressing hard. I agree. I do sometimes feel that he's just trying to cut the lanes in the middle. For the striker, you just need to cut the pass off to the CDM so they circulate it to the fullback. There were points where it was Vini and Mbappe in the middle, fullback flying, that flank is exposed. And then they use that to like drag our midfielders wide. And Vini would eventually tuck back when he really had to. And I'm like, bro, no coach sets up this way. Like no coach decides to set up this way defensively. Zidane would have fucking yelled at you and spit on you. And you did not defend this way. He did not defend that way under Zidane. Go watch him. He tried. And like, maybe his pressing angles were dumb, but no. Zidane 2.0 was the only defense first time of this club in its history. Mourinho, the 100 points was still a Ronaldo transition offense that could settle in a block. So yeah, I guess we've had 2 serious defensive teams this century, like that I can think of. Mourinho 2012, and then you could say for phases Real Madrid 2016 under Zidane when they locked in, and then 2017 was not a defensive team. That was an offensive team. And why I keep bringing up the ball pressure is I'm like, hey, if you remove someone with ball pressure on any all-time great team, they actually turn into a bunch of trash. Because like when you're reliant on executing something very difficult repeatedly and you only have a couple points of failure and you don't have them anymore, like that's the whole game. And I'm just realizing a lot of these attackers don't actually create in soccer. The midfielders create and the attackers finish. Like, it's just you think the attackers are creating, but a lot of the a lot of the creation happens long before with the space and time. And And
it's
so
in the buildup. Look, you know me, Sid, and we are a Real Madrid pod, so we are not fucking Kool-Aid devotees or Barca devotees, but their goals are kind of not predictable, but you can see them happen before they happen, right? Like here goes the one pass. Oh, I know someone's gonna run here. Pedri in you see it. You see it happening 7 passes before it happens. With Madrid, it's like, fuck, I don't know. Someone's got to do something outstanding. Oh, maybe we got a ball in the box. Someone comes on the end and finishes it. Like, and again, I'm not saying we have to play fucking tiki-taka or whatever, but the point is like there's creativity. You can see the process leading up to the goal. With us, it's like, yo, Vini, please cook your defender one-on-one. Sometimes he can. Sometimes he can't, right? Or Mbappe make Herculean finishes, which he can do, but relying on that as our entire offense, how predictable is that? I say this in basketball all the time, Sid. It's why when Golden State started doing their read and react motion offense, everybody's like, oh my God, it's because Steph's so awesome. Yes, Steph is awesome. But what makes it so difficult to defend is that you have 5 guys that are in constant motion that are all weaponized to score the basketball. When you are playing single high pick and roll and you know the ball's only going to their alpha guy, now, these are the best players in the world, so they're still hard to stop. But if the defense knows all we got to do is worry about this guy, their job becomes infinitely easier. All right, this is the only guy we got to worry about because the rest of these 4 dudes ain't doing shit. Well, if we're doing iso ball to Vini, guess what? All right, no worries. Pay no attention to the other side of the field because nothing's happening over there. Let's just lock down, get them to turn the ball over. And keynote, when they turn over, we will have numerical superiority because we know at least 2 of the front 3 guys will not run back.
100%. And I think the last thing to address here is people are asking like, okay, Vini got the free roll. Why are you scapegoating him? And Mbappe scores more. But
I'm blaming everybody. I'm blaming everybody. I want to be very clear. I'm blaming everyone.
I keep emphasizing midfield because I just think that these 2 can work if they defend better with the Modric around. Like, just put Mbappe instead of Rodrigo on that 24 team. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we could really just replace that one player, keep all the dynamics the same, and things get better. But now they're both here, and if one of them doesn't defend, who do you choose? Is just a very controversial question. And I just think the reason I lean Mbappe is because, like, I do lean towards expected goals. I hate to say it. So a guy who's
forget expected goals, Sid. His goal output's just higher. Period. End of story. So
yes,
I mean,
yes, his goal output is higher, and the point is like, well, people are going to keep going back to, hey, I don't care about the goals. They're empty calorie stats. Watch 2024. Watch how we won with Vini. He's clutch. When it matters, he delivers. I understand that argument. All I'm saying is if that would work if we were a good team that year. But if Adeyemi wasn't making Courtois do acrobatic Spider-Man heroics in the final, then sure. But that team was garbage. We lost Cruz. We lost Joselu, who Gonzalo Garcia is not as good at. Not as good as in the box. Not close yet. So we lost our box presence. And we got basically like another Vini archetype. And so we gained a point of gained a point of failure in an area where we were succeeding, right. And we lost multiple points of failure in areas where we don't have redundancy or just don't have a backup. So I think just the archetypes and the fit is just key. And like, it's too easy to hone in on any individual when you lose sight of like the whole math of that. And that's why I keep saying, like, I don't think Flo wants to sell the whole team either. And I think there are small things that'll get looked at though. Like, hey, Tchouameni, bro, like this, why does this happen every 5 games, bro? Do you have like, what's the ADHD going on? Like, did you not see him run past you? And I get it. I have it too. If I was on the pitch, I would have probably let him run past me too. If I'm winded, if I'm tired, it's like, I don't even see who's running past me. I get too tired. Yes. But like Tchouameni, you're Tchouameni. You're not me. You're not Sid. Right. Like you gotta go, you gotta show up.
No, 100%. We know physically tired players make mental errors, right? That's just a given, right? But I think you're right. Look, to me, let's look at Sid, who we think are, let's make the assumption that Flo has decided Xabi Alonso is his guy and he's going to side with him over the players. To me, let's go through who we think are players that Xabi is fine with keeping on this squad and rolling forward with. Courtois is easy. Duh. That's a given. I think Carreras, obviously. I think Huijsen, obviously. I think Militao, obviously. I think Trent, obviously. I think Jude, obviously. I think Tchouameni, obviously. I think Camavinga, obviously. I think Mastentuano, obviously.
I think Mbappe.
Mbappe, obviously. After that, Sid.
Yep, it's pretty wide open, and I think he would like a defensively committed system-oriented Vinicius. But if he can't get that, he's going to compromise for now while Florentino sorts out. Like, I think that's the thing. This is what they're talking about, guys. Like, they're not just. What do you think the phone calls between Alonso and Flo go like? Like, I think it comes down to these minutia, the nuances. Like, hey, today I don't know what Aurelien was doing. Like, what's the deal looking like for the next destroyer? Or hey, like, yeah, like just speed up that Vini sale and get me Quitcha or something. Like, that's what they're talking about. Like, that's how it goes in the summer. Mourinho was back like this. Mourinho got his Ozil, he got his Di Maria, he got his Khedira, he got whatever he wanted. And also, I think the main thing is like, we're coming from a team that's floor was weaker than the Pellegrini team. That's what people miss. And football's gotten harder since that Pellegrini era. So more ball pressure on us, and we're a weaker team. Like the 2024 team, yeah, okay, like it could win a big game better than Pellegrini, but honestly, like go look at that 2009-10 Real Madrid, and like they were more dominant in league games than 2024 Real Madrid week to week. Like they could put 5 and dominate a team more easily. They finished with like, I'm pretty sure their 96 points was like, if you played that season 100 times, they finished over 90, a lot more than 2024. So that's the foundation we have. And like, you know, we're rebuilding what was a shaky foundation. And I just think people don't want to accept that. They're like, oh no, we have Vini and Jude and Kama and Tchouameni. No, bro. Like as soon as they get pressed, they look like a bunch of headless chickens. They're not that good. Like they're not so untouchable. And it's very Man United almost. Like this is what Man United fans would come and say. Like, hey, look what he used to do, so keep him. Like, okay, go support Man United. Look how they used to win. That's not how we operate here. Like we're not complacent.
Let's play a little revisionist history. What happens, and shout out to Cake Eater for this, because this is something we've talked about offline and we brought up numerous times. If we lose that shootout to City in 23-24 and we don't win that Champions League and we have the same season we have the following year where we are shit, what are we looking like right now?
We are looking like mad at Florentino, and everyone's like, oh, that's what I'm saying. So then everyone's asking the real questions, like, why don't we have the pieces and why aren't we playing in a way that we can win? Now everyone's asking the question of like, why did you bring this guy in? Why'd you bring that in? Dude, like you don't have an evaluation process of how good these guys are, how the pieces fit. Worry more about Flo, because Flo knew this team was weaker before, and Flo's known this.
I would hope so, right? He is the president. I would hope, and if he doesn't know, I would hope Jose Angel Sanchez and then Juni Calafat and the rest of that crew was like, bro, look, we were lucky to have Courtois and Lunin, but you know, these teams are not that good. Like, it's just not foundationally.
And I do think they do, because Marcelo, Trent, for example, you don't pick them up and like, but Mendy, look at the difference between a Mendy, a Marcelo, and a Trent. I think a club that knows like what archetype it needs and what a generational archetype looks like, that's what the club does. When you win a Champions League with your Ferdinand Mendy, but when you go get your Trent Alexander-Arnold or Marcelo. You're trying to get that. And I generally think they have an idea of what outliers look like. Like you don't become an outlier without knowing what another outlier looks like. Every player is an outlier. So fundamentally, I'd like to think they have a system of differentiating between our outlier Champions League teams as well, because they're not all equally good.
And our last two were clearly outliers, because the one 2 years ago, the earliest one where we had all those remontadas, that was, come on. I think you said it, in the era of stats, and you play that is the most essentially luckiest Champions League team ever created, right? Like that you play that 100 times, that team wins maybe one other time. That's it. It's just not likely. And then obviously, as we know, when you watch the last one, Lunin was fucking turning into Pete Courtois that season. And we had so many late game heroics to come back and win that one. Cake Eater brought up an interesting thing, you know, saying our technical floor as a team is very low. And this is something you and I have talked about, Sid. I see we have a super chat here if you want to read that really quick.
Yeah, let's get to that at the end. But yeah, the technical floor, I just think it comes back to just turning, because as soon as you press up man-to-man, nobody can turn. That's what made Modric crazy. Like there was a sequence today, I just watched Arda and he like slipped, couldn't kind of turn. I'm like, dude, Modric takes that, slices through, we're in on goal. Like, holy crap. And that's just one. Like, just that's been happening all season. So, and it's because it's the ability of exploiting super tiny windows that only the great players can exploit. And when you exploit them, you get vast oceans of time and space. Listen, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying once you see it, this whole like, is Vini's attitude, like, yes, that's a problem. But when you realize like, okay, like we only had two teams that were defense first in the last 15 years of winning. And like, because even our 2017 team, you'd have like my best example is Ronaldo under Zidane. He starts defending, he defends in the big games. Then he has a lapse in the Champions League final in 2016 that helped Atletico score. Like, yes, you're going to have that one liability, but in general, like we had enough offense to win. We don't have that now. That's what I see. I'm like, okay, you have all those pieces, then you're missing the conductor that got it to them. So it looks stupid. It looks not only a little stupid, extremely stupid. And I'll be honest, what I wonder about is like, is there a way to improve our build-up? Like if Pep were here, does he have like a secret chapter in his book with like a bunch of formulas just for this? I don't think so, because even Pep, like the way they carry the ball really helps them manipulate the defense. Like Bernardo, you've seen Bernardo, the way he carries it.
Fucking, he's incredible.
That one was beautiful, right?
He's incredible, man. Bernardo, I mean, fucking, he plays for City, so I hate him. But when he plays for Portugal, I enjoy him.
Funny because he doesn't show up though for Portugal as much.
No, he does not. Not he should show up way more.
I call him a system player when I see him at Portugal.
Do you think because of their age that Carreras, Housen, Camavinga, and even Tchouameni, and even Jude, because those guys are all, Tchouameni's the oldest at 24 or 25, everybody else is 22 and younger. Do you think those guys can get better technically?
The only one who's really like I think Camavinga has the highest ceiling from a deep midfield. Jude's really good at like evading the press.
Sure
I think he could maybe,
and he can shield too, because he's big, so he can back shield you and then turn.
Yeah, so Jude and Camavinga have the highest ceiling. Tchouameni is kind of what he is now. Like unless he becomes Cruz, it's over. Like that's his ceiling in possession, and I think that's fine. It's just, can you like be more like Casemiro and be that paranoid freak who's literally always looking? Because that's if you swap Tchouameni and Casemiro, we lose 2022 final right now. Like, and it's probably not it's probably pretty bad just with the way Tchouameni defends sometimes. So, but yeah, I would just say.
And the reason why I asked about Carreras and Houghton is because they show promise as press evaders and help players who can help and build up. But I think they need a lot more development still, and they're still young. Do you think they can get better?
So I think I think the funny thing is like the way they get better is by cutting out execution errors, kind of like Camavinga. Like stop, like, because their default level of execution, the floor is really high. Like if Huijsen decides he wants to do something, it's getting there most of the time. Same for Carrera. So I would just say there are moments where they have options and they're trying to like be more creative, and they make, even today we saw it from, I think, Carreras, where he just made a pass he shouldn't make when, and he does that every once in a while. I would just say cut those out, just turn into a machine. Go watch like 2015 Barca, Alves, Alba, or us with Marcelo Carvalho. Just be a machine, keep the ball ticking, keep the ball moving, and don't get too cute with it. I think that's where they get better. But I do think, but I'll be honest, like I don't think their mistakes are what's hurting us in build-up. Like they're not the point of failure in build-up. So I don't think their improvements raise our ceiling. Does that make sense? Like our ceiling in build-up just needs someone who can turn, or a new player. Or like Camavinga plays the rest of the season in God mode, like something like that, like which is possible. Camavinga is our best hope, man, going forward. A little bit of Ceballos action, some Camavinga. Problem is like Camavinga and Trent, again, like all our points of failure are injury-prone tweeners or something. Like Camavinga's injury-prone. Trent put on muscle or some shit and he's getting hurt. I don't know what he did. And then
what? All of a sudden now, Trent's always hurt, and this is even at Liverpool, like the last season.
And so, like now I'm just like looking at that salary. I'm like, okay, like you need someone. You can't resume your relying on Trent going forward. And then you have Arda, who's a tweener, Ceballos, who can't play. Yeah. So what Modric and Cruz did was they were always available and they would always fight in duels. And like the thing is, I think people like definitely, I'm realizing that like Modric and Cruz's ability to just stand in the block in the right spots, that's all you needed, honestly. Like we didn't defend well with them, partly because we just don't defend well as a team. Like that's just what we do. Like that's just.
But Xavi had changed that at the beginning of the season. We were defending better. Those first 12 games, we were really good defensively. The whole team was better. Like
we were, and
then the players were like, "Fuck that, we don't want to watch videos anymore and do this shit." And it's like, okay, cool, I guess. Like,
it'll be a very interesting conversation at the boardroom to see what they're talking about, and because the reporting is coming out consistently, so I'm going to be curious. Like Florentino went I was very mad at the defensive effort. What if they say that? Listen, so far to this point, whenever I've said they're going to back Xavi, they have. I just want to say that because like I've grown through this team. They learn things like you can see when they learn things and they don't unlearn them. It's kind of funny. Like why did they spend 100 million on Tchouameni in 22? Because Zidane said we need Casemiro in 16. It wasn't like that was a long-term thing. Once they realized they need that profile, they spent top dollar to replace him on a holding midfielder who can't even dribble, right? So in general, my prediction would now be that they're like, okay, like this is what happens when you give it to the players. And two, like how do you go from having like an Isco, James, Cruz, and Modric to giving me like no points of failure from a playmaking perspective? Like, because we were really overstocked and blessed those years. And Kovacic too, oh my God. We went from those guys to like Kovacic, like that young Kovacic would do wonders for this team, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, so there's a lot to see, and I'm curious. Just follow the reporting because so far the club's backed him, and like, you know, if your eyes and ears are open and the player's setup didn't work, why wouldn't they keep backing him? Don't panic. But Man City is a big game. I will say this: Man City are like us. They can't put ball pressure on the ball that effectively at all, and even if they do, they have their own artists who look cute trying to do it, who can't really do it. And you know, they can't afford they could have had Judes and Camavingas. We snatched them. So they got to deal with some of these non-perfect two-way profiles that they have to settle for on the market.
Yeah, but Pep will but at least thing about City though is
they're better on the ball.
And they play as a collective. Say what you want. They have those tweener problems that we have and all that, but they play as a collective and they are far superior on the ball than we are.
So one thing I will say, what's funny is today we did play as a collective on the ball. That's the funniest part, Jarod. Like with the guys getting what they want, there was no ego on the ball today. Like Mbappe is just bad at releasing it. I've accepted that. He'll slalom past 5 guys. He could have a killer pass and he'll just lay it off to someone next to him like a dummy. That's just what he does. But I've accepted that with him. And but I'm just saying, but they were playing for each other. They were sticking together offensively, not defensively, which is and it's just, again, what it comes back to is execute one side of the ball. Like it doesn't matter if you're sticking together offensively when there are no profiles, and then you're okay, the profiles aren't there. Now you got to go to the other side of the ball, and that is the big test.
And if we cannot stay together defensively, when in a match against City, they're going to dominate possession. So
that's the thing.
Now what?
That's the thing, Jarod. I think we're going to get the Liverpool, the effect that Liverpool had before playing us. I hate to say it, but like just seeing how we played against 10 men, we're totally going to go and actually try against City. We might even get something. It might be bad. I've hedged against that already. We already know we have flaws. But I'm just saying, like, it might be a weird game where it looks better than normal because City just don't like dealing with Mbappe and Vini. They don't want to deal with players of that speed. Ruben Diaz is literally barbecue chicken in space. And so our guys are going to go match up with them one-on-one, try to like breathe on their necks. Yeah. And they're going to care and they're going to try in a big game, kind of like Liverpool did against us because they just suffocated us that game. It's just desire. And you can't do that like consistently, but yes, certain games, if you really just man-to-man press, the desire can keep you in the game. That was a default under Zidane, though. I can't wait for us to get there someday where we're tracking every day again. Just a note on this super chat. Sorry I left it up for so long while we were talking about things. But Kiko Gang 2392 asks, who do you think will win the Europa League? Fenerbahce made a serious bid for Lewandowski, Min-jae, and Salah. Love from Turkey. That's crazy, man. Your government, the Turkey government, man, they just let you guys, they just sponsor. If the politician just likes a player, he'll sign him.
Oh, did you see all the stuff with Salah this weekend at Liverpool?
Yes, but
it's getting wild out there. Merseyside, yeah, is that where Liverpool is? Fuck, I'm gonna get my English like places wrong. Wherever.
Fenerbahce are looking at Sorloth. Their Salah makes sense. Yeah, they're looking for players apparently. So it will be interesting. Now let's see who the Europa League probability is. Opta analyst.
Yeah. I was right. Yeah, look, I mean, shit. Should I root for another La Liga team in Europa League? Betis. Like, you know, I don't.
Unai Emery's asked it. Oh, Unai Emery is in the Europa League.
That's true. Villa's good. Villa's good. Yeah, Lyon's playing well in Europa this year so far.
Lyon, Roma is in the Europa. Lille. Bologna, Nottingham Forest. I have to go with Aston Villa as my favorites right now.
Because of Unai.
Unai, they beat Arsenal, who are literally the Champions League
Yeah, they
favorites.
sure did. They sure did.
They beat the Champions League favorites and they play in the Europa League. It's really hard to look past them. But hey, if you guys get Kim Min-jae, Mo Salah, and Lewandowski, I will tune in to Fenerbahce games. Love to Turkey. You know, I mean, hey, I'm already wondering if we could kind of sneak one guy out of Turkey. You know, if we lose Vini, yeah, like he's good, man. He's still good. Like just what he's. If you're not getting Erling, it's got to be him. There's nobody else. Like the other ones went to Saudi because they're not as good. John Duran or whatever, who those guys were. Jalen Duran. These NBA named. Like I know. I saw those names. I'm like, why are these guys named like NBA players now? And why are they going to Saudi at 22? Like, what's happening to the Premier League?
Oh man, too funny. Too funny.
The other one's the guy who plays with Ronaldo, right? Al Nassr striker.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his name? Tony. Oh, well, there's Tony and Duran and Tony. But yeah, those guys are second rate. It's Osimhen or Haaland is the only one. And like, honestly, I don't think we'll sneak Osimhen out. I just think Flo likes his sure shots, like played at a top team, like pouring in the goals, like because he wants to offer the salary, the top end salary. But hey, you know, hopefully if Osimhen's available, we'll take him from Turkey. Just want to let you know.
Oh, for sure. Over under on the amount of times we hear before Wednesday's match against City that Xabi Alonso and the team need a result or else changes are going to be made.
Damn. I think we'll get it, but I still will hold out my belief that the reporting is going to change. It's not going to be at some point people are going to realize they're not just going to let this guy hang out to dry. They know their problems. So I'm going to lean in and say they back him. This is really hot take, but I'm just going off the math here. Like your flow, you watch that, you have to back your guy right now, man. Like you kind of have to. So
you would think so.
I'm just going off executive logic. I would back him. So I'm gonna guess maybe we see it, but my hot take is we get a pushback, Jarod. And listen though, I don't know. I could be real dumb. Maybe he loses City and he's out.
Man, if the club somehow gets embarrassed by City on Wednesday,
it's just like. I mean, I get it when you sack Lopetegui. Like the guy was, but like Alonso and Lopetegui there's just a huge difference. Like you can't just sack Alonso. He's going to succeed at another top club and you're going to look
sure will. Yeah, of course he will. Because it's only in this circus that like we allow this kind of thing, right? It's like, look, man, he has said yes, it's small sample size, but in our laboratory experiment, we have the proof in the pudding. When Xabi had it his way, 12 out of 13. When the players mutinied, what we've seen the last 7 or 8 matches. What? I mean, I don't know what else you got to see, right? Like,
yeah, no. And I mean, like, because that's the easiest way to look at it. Because for all you result-oriented people who say expected goals doesn't exist and like our old teams were strong, go back to running it that way, the results haven't looked good. And that's the thing. Like, it goes back to you could play that 2024 season 100 times. You really wouldn't win it that many times. It makes it a better story. It makes it the best memory in sports history.
Of course.
But if you're holding on to it and you think you learned something, that you know how to build a team because I'm watching those years, go do it, bro. Go do it. I'm just asking. Go get out there and coach, like Pep says. Go get out there and do it. Don't tweet at me. Like, go break down your thought process because that is only something someone who has not been paid in football says, honestly. Someone who will never get paid in football thinks that those teams are the types you build around. Like, I'm not saying be closed-minded. And like during those seasons, you don't tell Carlo to go play positionally and lose those ties.
Of course.
That's not what we're saying. But yeah, it's definitely not. And I guess we got another super chat. Semedo, Ederson, Duran,
Asensio,
Fred, Skriniar. Who's that? Like, which team is that? Ederson team, is that Fenerbahce. Okay, wait. Every single one of these players is on Fenerbahce. I could have Duran is on
Fenerbahce? I didn't think they were. So you sell Arda and get all those guys back in return?
Well, no, I wouldn't want Nelson Semedo here. Like, man, that's the dude who was subbed on when Barcelona were blowing leads under Valverde. Nelson Semedo. Wow, that's a lot of pieces, man. That's crazy, Kiko gang. So that's good. I guess we might as well, since he's bringing up the Turkish league, pull up the
standings.
Standings. Galatasaray first. Fenerbahce are third, 3 points behind Galatasaray. Mourinho must be mad. He didn't get all these pieces when he was there.
Speaking of the special one, we will be playing Benfica in January, I think, in Champions League, not too long after the Christmas break.
Oh, hopefully Alonso's coaching against Benfica.
I hope so. Look, I want to be clear. I don't think it needs to be said, but I will say it. We back Alonso in this. We think Xabi's the right guy to lead this project in terms of, I'm not saying he's perfect. We have critiqued areas that he's made mistakes, like for sure. But I think if Madrid want to, as I always say, continue to be the greatest club in the history of football and be the club leading into the next century, this mishmash that we have going on right now can't be it. Like, it just can't be. You have to back a coach who can lead and develop and also handle egos, but literally not have a squad of unfitting players who don't want to do what he wants them to do. Like, you got to make some changes. But I back Xabi in that.
Yeah, and I'll just say this. If we lose and we're losing in games where the guys are not running after the ball, one coach can get fired over that. After that, the players will get changed. I'm just telling you. Like, you don't fire 5 coaches because the players aren't defending. Like, right. That's not how this works.
That's on the players, right? That's on the players. So, yeah. We shall see, Sid. We shall see. Well, guys, we will be back on Wednesday following the Champions League match at home against City. Lord help us for the next 72 hours before that match. All the reports coming out. Stay tuned, though. We'll be tweeting. We'll be having little combos. I might do one of my long tweets again tomorrow morning, Sid, about my thoughts.
Maybe a
little video. But and then we'll get ready. Look, this is part and parcel when you root for sports teams, right? You're going to go through periods like this, right? It's just how it is. It ain't always we're winning and we're awesome, right? You're going to have periods like this. And this is our rainy season right now. We were hoping coming into the season to be better. And it started out that way. But the adversities hit and it's really trying times and testing times. But again, I hope the club does the right thing and comes out on top. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Please like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends. Tell them to subscribe to the channel as well. If you want to listen to the audio only version of this, we're on Apple, we're on Spotify. Subscribe to that too. Download. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care.